This is episode 191 of Southern Gospel Now, your weekly look at what's going on in today's Southern Gospel music. I'm Greg Goodman. Our broadcast is made possible in part by Daywind.com, where you'll find Southern Gospel CDs, soundtracks, and Christian products. We're in the month of love, and we have some stories about how some of your favorite couples in Southern Gospel met. Melissa Brady here to discuss how she and Jim met.
Jim and I both met as kids when we were about 10 years old. My family traveled doing evangelistic work, his family traveled doing evangelistic work, and we both were singing with our families. And so we were singing and ministering at some of the same places. So we were friends for about 10 years. And we had kind of started dating, and about a year later, we got married. And then we traveled and sang together for almost 10 years. A lot of people don't know that. They're like, oh, we never heard you before. But we traveled with my dad in a group called the Schulers.
Jim and Melissa Brady are the current Singing News Fan Award-winning Duo of the Year. Peach Goldman is Troy and Katie Peach and their friend Andrew Goldman. Troy and Katie explained that Bill and Gloria Gaither played a large part in their meeting.
We would probably not be a couple if it weren't for them.
That's right.
We met 25-ish years ago at a Gaither homecoming videotaping.
Yes,
it was
that's
in
right.
Indianapolis, Indiana, at the Indianapolis Grand Ballroom, and you were singing with the Neelands.
Yes.
I was there with a group called the Steels, and I'll never forget, I asked our publicist that day with our record company, I said, who is the hot blonde with the Neelands? And they said, oh, she's brand new. Her name is Katie. And I said, I am going to talk to her. So I did. I mustered up all the courage I had, and I walked over. I'll never forget. I could still remember you, that bright blonde hair and that hot pink dress.
Wow, I'm impressed.
And I walked over to you, and I stuck out my hand, and I said, hi, I'm Troy. And you got up and went the other way. That really happened.
That actually is true.
That is true. But we did finally talk a little later,
yes,
back off the camera and all.
Yes.
But just a few years after that, you begged me to marry you, and I did.
Well, now, that's not totally
okay,
accurate.
Well, but it is. It's because of Bill and Gloria that we married.
So,
now, 21 years we've celebrated marriage.
That's
and
right.
Thank you, Bill and Gloria,
Yes, thank
for
you.
letting us get introduced.
What a cool story. Gordon Mode was a co-producer on the Neelands' final project, Loving You. Gordon comments on Autumn Neeland-Streetman's talent and potential for the future.
I don't know what Autumn wants to do. I'm not even sure she knows what she wants to do from day to day. Maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. And you know what? She doesn't have to decide right now. But whatever Autumn does, she will be successful because she has a real drive, just like her family. And she's so amazingly talented that no matter what style she decides to sing, or if she decides to do something totally different, she will be very successful. And I'm really proud of her.
Meanwhile, Gordon Mode has just released a new single, Door Wide Open, which features the Gaither Vocal Band on background vocals. We never know how a small interaction we have with someone might lead to larger implications down the road. Jonathan Price of the Lefevre Quartet shares a great story of how that played out in his life.
7 or 8 years ago, Jordan called me, and he was like, hey, our tenor singer's sick this week. Can you come fill in? And I was like, well, yeah, I'd love to. And I got home, and I'll never forget, I told my wife, I said, one day I want to travel with those guys. I said, because it's a great feeling when I'm on that bus with them and the environment that they create. Mike and Jordan both, they're godly men, and even the rest of the team that we've got assembled right now. Yeah, they're just great godly men, and I'm loving every second of it.
The Wisnut's big event of the year, their annual homecoming, is less than a month away. Jeff Wisnut here to fill us in on what's coming up.
We truly enjoy our homecoming weekend here in Western North Carolina. The Wisnut's homecoming is always the first full weekend in March, which this year falls on March 7 and 8. Friday night, we'll have the Inspirations, the Mark Trammell Quartet, Karen Peck and New River. On Saturday afternoon, Gerald Wolfe and all the Hymn Sing gang gather with us, including the Mylan Hayes family, Mark Trammell Quartet, Greater Vision, the Wisnuts. And then on Saturday night, we'll have the Irwins, Greater Vision, and Gold City. So we're looking forward to a great time. You can get any additional information you need at our website. That's wisnuts.com.
That event, once again, is on March 7th and 8th in Morganton, North Carolina. Jackie and Elaine Wilburn had a massive impact on Southern gospel music with the ministry of the Wilburns. Jonathan Wilburn, of course, got his start there and shares a story about his dad.
My dad, he went to a school called Vol Tech, downtown Nashville, Tennessee, when he was right out of high school. He lived at the YMCA, and he had one suit and one pair of shiny shoes. And in those days, the Wilburn brothers, Teddy and Doyle Wilburn, were a huge hit in country music. And Dad would shine his shoes, put on his suit, and he'd go down to the Ryman Auditorium, and he would present his driver's license, and they would go, Wilburn, oh, come on in, And Dad said he would just go stand over in a corner, and said he met all his heroes from Tennessee, Governor Jimmy Davis, Jim Reeves, Hank Snow, Johnny Horton, all those guys that he just looked up to musically. But Dad loved these songs.
Jackie Wilburn was inducted into the SGMA Hall of Fame several years ago. Jonathan's current project, Songs from the Front Pew, revisits some of these old songs that his dad enjoyed so much. Joseph Habedank's current hit is Jesus Walked In. Joseph tells us about the Bible story that is included in the tune.
One of my favorite Bible stories is when Jairus goes to try to get Jesus to come save his daughter. And literally while Jesus is on the way to heal his daughter or to see his daughter, a woman touches the hem of his garment and is healed. She's a little bit of a distraction. He gets there and the girl's dead. But when he walks in the room, everything changes because he raises her from the dead. And I wanted this song to tell people like you that whatever your situation is, whatever you're walking through, when he walks in the room, everything will change.
Chris Blue is featured on Jesus Walked In from Joseph Habedank. Lauren Talley knows a great song when she hears one.
I first heard this song about 15 years ago when the Inspirations sang it at the National Quartet Convention. I stood against the back wall and listened to them sing, and I thought, man, what a great song. I would love to record that someday. And I thought, there's no way I can sing this without having the Inspirations sing it with me. And they graciously agreed. It has an unbelievable message all year long. We can celebrate the fact that the Holy Son of God wrapped himself in flesh to walk among us, to show us the Father, to become sin for us. And nothing on earth can take him from us. Glory in the highest. The sun came down.
While it wasn't a traditional Christmas song, Lauren included The Sun Came Down on her project A Lauren Talley Christmas. Interestingly, the Mylan Hayes family has put out Who Is He in Yonder Stall off their A Christmas album as a regular radio single as well. Time for a look at the top songs of the week from the Power 50 chart.
Number 5.
Grateful for the Gospel, Brian Free and Assurance.
I'm grateful for the gospel. It stood the test of time.
Number 4.
Come on, let's go to that land, Tribute Quartet.
Come on, come on, come on, all aboard, let's go to that land.
Number 3.
Jesus Walked In, Joseph Habedank.
But then Jesus walked in, changed everything.
Number 2.
You'll find him there, Ernie Haas's signature sound.
You'll hear a still small voice that gently fills the air. You'll find him there. You'll find him there. You'll find him there.
Number 1.
Things We Cannot Change, the Lefevre Quartet.
Through the things we cannot change.
After 4 weeks at number 1, You'll Find Him There from Ernie Haas's signature sound slides down to number 2, and the Lefevre Quartet moves to number 1 with Things We Cannot Change. You can enjoy any of our 191 episodes of Southern Gospel Now, wherever you find podcasts or at southerngospelnow.com. Our report made possible in part by southerngospelprizes.com, where currently you can register for CDs from Scotty Enman and the Kramers. More info available at southerngospelprizes.com. I'm Greg Goodman. Remember to love your neighbor. I'll see you back here next week with another edition of Southern Gospel Now.